It's time for the beeline. It's time for the beeline.
Hello. Hi, everyone. How are you doing? My name is Brian B. And I like to start my podcast off by giving a little introduction. And it's a little different every single time. But you want to know something, it's still me. At the end of the day, it's me, right? Is that all that matters? It's me. Who's me? Who am I? What am I doing right now? This is what I'm doing. I am sitting in my chair, and this is the Beeline, baby. It's your boy, Brian B. Check it out. Check it out, people. We got another screen on the screen, another screen on the screen. We got a host. We got a guest for you. Oh, we always got a host. I'm the host. We got a guest for you today. But before we get to the guest that we got on the Beeline Tuesday night, check it out. You know what I'm going to say. Beeline, y'all already know what I'm going to say. I'm going to tell y'all, I'm about to make y'all hungry. You know, that's what I'm saying. I'm about to make y'all hungry. Because last time I checked, we sponsored by Railsway Catering. You know what Railsway Catering is? Hey, yo, Keana, you ever heard of
Yeah.
a company called Railsway Catering?
No, I haven't.
Let me tell you about it, okay? This is my boy, Chef Rel. He's amazing. I went to high school with him. He's a great kid, man. Great guy. I say kid, but we're grown men now, you know. But he went and followed his dream and started a catering company, Rel's Way Catering. And his food is phenomenal. It's amazing. It's put together well. It's pretty. It's healthy. And he does it for weddings, parties, bar mitzvahs, retirements, whatever you got going on. My boy Chef Rel from Rel's Way Catering is going to hook you up, your people, and you guys are going to be very satisfied. Amazing. Chef Rel, Rel's Way Catering, sponsored on the Beeline. Check them out, cooking it up on episode 19 of the Beeline. That's being done. That's being said. Check it out, Beeline. Welcome, guys. So great to be back with you. We have a guest with us today. This is Miss Keana Mitchell, and she is also a fellow podcaster. So she's actually going to be talking with your boy Brian B today. Keana, how you doing? How you doing? What's going
I'm
on?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
Pretty good, man. It was a pretty challenging day. You know, we talked a little earlier about, you
Yes,
know,
we did.
what's going on with me lately. But your boy always going to pull through. You feel me? Like, especially when it comes to this, like, we definitely talked and we share this. Like, this is what makes me happy every day to know that even though it's not like my career yet, hopefully this is what I love to do. I love to get on the damn, Beeline and talk to different people about different things in life, and I'm happy, no complaints. But
No, I totally understand.
yeah, so we're gonna get to know you a little bit on this podcast, and we got a lot of interesting things to talk about, like always. But go ahead, I want you to shine. We always try to let our guests like tell a little bit about themselves and introduce yourself, talk about whatever you want to talk about, and the floor is yours. So go ahead, take it over.
All right. Well, my name is Keana W. Mitchell. I just put a W in there because I like how it sounds. And I am a podcaster. I'm a singer, songwriter. I have a master's degree in counseling psychology. And I've also worked as a rehabilitation counselor, which is just someone who helps people with disabilities find employment. And also, if they're interested in going back to school, help them find a way to get back into school. I'm a mom, a wife. I have a lot of things going on. But the thing that I appreciate the most about where I am right now in my life is that I'm doing what I like to do and I'm with people that I love to be around. So it's all good.
That's awesome. Yeah, you definitely just listed off a whole resume. You know what I'm saying? Like you just president, captain the planet. You might as well just add a whole bunch of extra stuff in there. But you want to know something? That's very, very, very interesting. Because since I started doing this, one of the things that I've enjoyed the most is, meeting different people with like different backgrounds and different, careers and, just things that they're doing. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different podcasts. There's a million podcasts now. People are getting on, they're like, oh, I can get a mic, I can get a show, I can do this, I can talk.
That's true.
It all over. But when you meet people like you just said, one of the things that caught my attention, most of all is, like you said, you help people who have, say it again one more time, you help people that need jobs and things like that.
Yes, people with disabilities. I help them find employment or help them go back to school. Because a lot of times people with disabilities feel that because they have a disability, they can't do anything. Or the employer may feel like because someone has a disability that they're not going to be able to work, which is not true. They just need to have a chance and an opportunity. And maybe they will need some type of adaptive technology, but they can still do the job as long as they can still do the job. So that is where we are.
Yo, that's amazing. That's amazing in its own thing. I mean, that speaks a lot about you without us even knowing you yet. You know what I mean? Like, because those kind of traits are for caring people. You know what I mean? You gotta have patience. You gotta have, a lot of heart. To sit there and be able to sit there and even think about wanting to do something like that. Think of that there are people out there that aren't as fortunate as a lot of others who can't do everything. It's very true. I was actually sitting there thinking about that the other day where I was like, and this is going to sound really silly, but I was just appreciating the fact that I have like, my legs, my hands, my arms and
Uh-huh.
stuff like that to do the things that I do, because there's a lot of times you get tired and you're like, oh man, I don't want to go out. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to get up. You know what I'm saying? But then I sat there, I was doing something. I was at work and I was just doing something. I was like, damn, man, there's some people out here that can't even walk around. I'm over here bitching about it. Like, for real. Thinking outside, like, you got to remember, man, it puts things into perspective sometimes thinking about
It
that.
does.
Yeah, there's people out there that can't get jobs easily because, like you just said, their qualifications, may be well and they may be smart, they may be educated, but physically they can't do certain things. So the fact that
Right.
you take time to do that is amazing, for sure. So, we definitely kind of have some things that we do want to talk about on this podcast. Tell everybody a little bit about your podcast. Let's start from there.
All right. Well, I am the host of a podcast called the Music and Vibes Podcast. And what I do on the show is I pretty much talk about relationships because I know sometimes people are not always going to want to go to see a counselor. I've talked to many people and they say, well, I'm interested in going, but my husband is not, or my wife isn't interested in going. So I decided that maybe it would be a good thing to have some kind of forum where, okay, you don't have to actually go to a counselor, but you can listen to some marriage advice and some advice that will help you improve your relationship. So what I try to do is I try to get topics or things that people are dealing with. Like this week, we talked about how to apologize because a lot of people don't really know how to apologize. I mean, we think we do, but we really don't. So I talked about how to apologize. I gave the steps and I let everyone know, okay, so even if you apologize, your spouse may not accept it the first time. And that's okay. They're not being a jerk about it. They're not being difficult, but they've just been hurt and they're not able to accept it at this time. And I just let them know you just got to keep apologizing until they're able to accept it in their way. And we can't force someone to accept an apology just because we want to get it over with and because we're ready for this whole thing to be over. We have to give people space and time to heal and be ready to accept your apology. So we talked about that. And then today at 10 o'clock, I did a Facebook Live on repair attempts and how you can recognize what they are and how you can actually use repair attempts to de-escalate situations or conversations or arguments and be able to have productive conversations. So I do things like that. I just want people to know, okay, here's a problem that some people are having. Here's a solution. And I do always advise people to seek the help of a professional counselor. But in the meantime, this is what you can do right now to kind of change the course of your relationship.
That's awesome. Yeah, you want to know something? You were kind of just speaking directly to your boy right now. I'm telling you right now, there ain't no shame in my game, all right? I'm gonna be straight up honest, yo. Me and IT Tiff, she co-hosts with me. IT Tiff's kind of been she hasn't been on the show as much. She's got a lot going on. She's actually away for
Yeah.
the week. So I miss my baby, but she'll be back. But we kind of talk about these things too because I'm a dominant male. All right? I'm not gonna lie. I'm a very dominant type of person. But I'm not like, controlling and stuff like that. But I like to,
Right.
I know there's an issue. I'm trying to, fix it. I'm trying to get everybody back together. I'm trying to, like, make sure we can hug and kiss and not go to bed mad and stuff like that or whatever. But at the same time, you do learn when you're in a long-term, situation, especially with a lot of factors, whether it be family or whether you
Hmm.
work together or whatever the situation may be. If you're dealing with somebody else in a situation where you guys are, paying bills together, living together, whatever, there's a lot
Right.
more to that situation than just, I'm sorry, you said my apology. And it does get hard to, to face that sometimes, because when problems do come up, you do want to kind of, throw them under the rug and say, I'm sorry, can we just
Hmm.
get past this and just keep shit going good? And
Exactly.
I'm definitely guilty of that right there. I won't even lie. I love just to, I don't want to put a band-aid on stuff. I don't want to ignore things, but I do want to fix it fast. I do. That is
Hmm.
me. I'm very impatient in that aspect. So that's awesome. It's a very good conversation right there.
Yeah, and I think we all are, to be honest, because it's uncomfortable to be in an argument. It's uncomfortable to be in a fight. So of course you want to make it go away. And so I know I am kind of like the same way. It's like I just want to either sweep it under the rug, minimize it, and be like, okay, well, let's just move on. But that's just not how life works. And everybody is not the same way. And it's a good thing, because if everyone was the same way, then we'd never be forced to deal with our own issues, because we could sweep them under the rug and call it a day.
Yeah,
So,
that's actually a very good point right there. Yeah, you never would really think about it because you'd be just quickly trying to put the band-aid on it, whatever. It's
mhm,
like, oh, we want it to be good, so just, push it to the side and let's worry about it. We kind of have those talks, you know what I mean? Like, I've never
yeah,
been one been very good at relationships. I'll be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't got nothing to hide. But there are certain things that you start to notice, like, I really want to be good for this. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
they give you reasons to want to change. A lot of people will just come to you and just talk to you and be like, "Hey, you should change. Hey, you should do this." Oh, thank you. Like, whatever. But it's like then
yeah.
you were like, okay, maybe I do need to start thinking about some things, because I do enjoy you in my life. I do enjoy these things that I share with you. So I definitely understand those things. But Keanu, you bring up a great point, and your podcast, sounds amazing. Like I told you, behind the scenes, like, I definitely like the fact that you incorporate the music with something that's so relevant. Like, so many people are dealing with, like, relationship problems and,
Hmm.
marriage and stuff like that, especially nowadays. And we do a lot of talking about that here on the show. But what I kind of wanted to have you want to talk about more than anything was, like, kind of the definition of relationships in 2020. We're in freaking, Star Trek, Back to the Future years and shit. Like,
Yeah, we really are.
know what I'm saying? When we were younger and stuff like that, and I always say, younger, like, like we're, 60, 70 years old. But back in the day, honestly, your boy Brian B, I'm 33. And
Right.
I got a little bit of age at this point. I got a little bit of experience in some things. But I don't know if you had things weren't as complicated as they are now when I was younger.
No,
You
it
know,
wasn't.
there's a lot more experience, there's a lot more um connection that you consistently have with people everywhere. So
Hmm.
I feel like I haven't really touched on what are relationships now. Not so much back in the day, but what are relationships now? So to kind of set the
That's
foundation, go ahead. Yeah, please talk, because I talk a lot. So.
Oh, no, no, no. No, I was gonna say that's an awesome question, because, like you said, things are different now. And before, when I was younger, relationships were just like, oh, you're dating this person, you're with this person. But now they have so many factors, because you can be dating someone, but they can be online, they could be overseas, they don't necessarily have to be in the same state with you. You can have legitimate long distance relationships, because we do have like FaceTime, and you have Zoom, and you have all these ways to connect. So you can really have meaningful long-term relationships with people in different countries and different places, and it can still be a valid, legitimate relationship based on the feelings and things like that. So I think that now relationships have changed, because it's not just what it doesn't have to be with someone in your area, someone you grew up with, someone in your church, or anything like that. It could be with anyone. And the great thing about it is it could be with any race, any nationality. It's not a big deal anymore. You can just find somebody that you love, someone that respects you, and you can have a relationship. You know, that's the beautiful thing about it, I think.
Listen, yeah, listen. I'm laughing already, yo, because I know my goofy ass. I'm gonna take this to all different levels. All right, listen. All right. So here's the first level. Let's start here. You actually just brought up a really good point, and I didn't think about
Okay.
it, but um, there's a show called I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's a pretty popular show. It's called 90 Day Fiance. Have you ever heard of that one on
I've seen
TLC?
it. I am like such a fan. I watch every episode, like 90 Day Fiance the other way, 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. I watch
Yeah.
it.
Yo, listen. Like you just said, this is one of the topics, you know what I mean? Now I'm not saying that this is what, have started and stuff like that or whatever, because I'm pretty sure this has been going on for a while. But like you just said, back in the day, and I'm just talking about back in my day, you know what I'm saying? When you were considered a long distance relationship, what did you have to do? You had to have the phone number, you had to
Hmm.
make a telephone call. Oh,
Yeah.
you're going this. The wives who had to leave their husbands, who went to the army or military, whatever the situation may be. You had to get a, written letter, whatever. Even people in jail, like you get a letter,
That's so true.
you know what I mean? Like you get a
Yeah.
letter, I miss you so much and blah blah blah, XO and all that shit. But now you can literally have a full functional, not as much physical relationship with somebody who's
Hmm.
nowhere near you. And the probability of its success is so much higher than 20 years ago. Because you
Yeah.
can meet somebody in India, on a damn PlayStation network, you know what I'm saying? That you over there playing
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, and then you just start chatting with somebody,
Yeah,
and
that's crazy. Yeah.
in a couple, Kiana, I literally know a guy that I used to work with 10 years ago. He met his now wife, who he was in New Jersey, and she was in Canada. He
Wow.
met her on Call of Duty, playing Call of Duty online.
Are you serious?
You can literally have a whole functional relationship without even being near a person with so many different, and that was 10 years ago. That's not even
Yeah.
like the FaceTime and the Zoom and the, TikTok, Twitch Talk, whatever. It's a million things, yo, that you can have now to successfully
Yeah.
get to know somebody and know that it's them, not just a damn catfish on MTV. Like a
Yeah.
person, you know?
Hmm.
It's crazy.
And I
Like,
find that amazing.
yeah, what do you think about, like, the challenges that are coming with that understanding, knowing that you don't have to just, you know, it's so, I don't want to just over talk and just talk for a million years, because I have a lot on this topic that I have in my head, just freelancing right now. But I'm trying to find the right questions so I can incorporate, the conversation. But here, let's ask this one. Um,
Okay.
what are things that you've noticed that have been differences, maybe good or bad, as far as how people are easily access to relationships now with technology, whether it be Facebook,
Yeah.
whether it be, social media, whether it be like, video games, whatever. How do you feel like that's affecting everybody?
Well, I think like on a positive side, the good thing about it is that you don't have so many men and women screaming and crying about that they can't meet somebody. Because even if you're living in Timbuktu, you can still meet somebody on the internet. So your options are open, they're available. You know, there's a lot of fish in the sea. So you have a lot of options. On the negative side, you have so many options until you may not be faithful to the one option that you have, because I mean you can easily find somebody on Facebook and start a little chat and everything. And I think that's also like redefine the whole quote unquote cheating aspect of things, because you don't have to be there to cheat. You can have emotional affairs now. And I'm like, who would have thought? But it's true. So it's like the options are good, but then I think that's also like a double-edged sword, because the options can be bad. We don't have to spend as much time with the person that we have and focus on them, because there's so many distractions, so many options. And if you decide you want to be on Facebook, like on the internet, it's going to be a little difficult for them to find out unless they get a clue of what's going on, because it's just so easy now. So I think options are good, but then that's also the thing that can kill your relationship as well.
And you know something? You took the words like right out of my mouth exactly. It really is like a double, I don't want to say a double negative because like you said, it is a positive, but it's just like there's so much that it's good, but it's also so much that is
Yeah.
bad because it's like, for me, it feels like because there's so many different ways that you can connect with somebody, you can find somebody, you can meet somebody, whether you be on Tinder or whatever those like, you literally have apps that are just for dating. You
Yes.
have you have people. I've talked about this before on the show, I think, but you have people who literally can sit here and create their person that they want to be with, put in all their
Yeah.
information, put in all of their little attributes that they want the person that they have to look for, and then the computer will just generate a list, and the list will be like, oh, do you like this one? Nope, nope, not that one. Swipe left, swipe right, like like how convenient. Like you're in a grocery store. How
Yeah.
convenient to minimize your options so you can literally say, oh, I like this guy, oh, I like that guy, I like this guy. Now here's a good question. Okay, what do you think that's doing to our man, I wish I didn't know how to say this. I know exactly what I'm trying to say. What do you think that's doing to our like mentality as far as knowing what we want? You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
being able to just break down exactly what you think you want
Yes.
and go onto these websites and say, oh, I want a guy with brown hair, blue eyes, athletic build, blah blah blah, this and that, and bam, show me all these guys, and then bam, the computer says, okay, here's all these guys, and they throw it in your face, and you're like, oh, I like that one, oh, I don't like that one, oh, but you've completely eliminated a whole
Exactly.
category. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
don't even you're not even given the option anymore to sit there and say,
Mm.
well, what about this guy? What if this guy, the one that you didn't pick, was perfect for you?
No,
Perfect.
I get that. And the thing that I think also is like you're kind of boxing yourself in because let's just be real. We don't know what we want. We don't know what we need. I mean, we have an idea. It's almost like you ask your kids at Christmas, hey, what do you want? And they'll give you a whole bunch of toys. You go
Yeah.
buy them and they don't even play with them because they really didn't want it. They just saw it and they thought it was a good thing to have. And when you buy them something, then they like it because you know what they like. And I think sometimes we do that. We have an idea in our head about what we want our Mr. or Mrs. Right to be. And this idea has been like perpetuated since we were a kid, and we have all these ideas. But like I tell people, the idea we have in our head is not really an actual person. It's just an idea. So the person we're looking for doesn't really exist. And I think just having all these options takes away from our experiences of actually going out and meeting someone because you might meet someone and date someone who you would probably never pick, but he might be the right one for you, or she might be the right one. But you never give yourself that opportunity because you keep going after what you think you want. And I think that's why we have so many bad relationships. So someone ends a relationship and they get into another one, same problem. And the problem is not the person that they're dating, it's the type of people. They're looking for the wrong person based on their personality, or
Yep.
maybe they have different things that they want. Because when you fill out that paper online, you could be anything you want to be. You can say, I'm nice, caring, respectful. You might not be, but you would never know because this is what you're saying. And you take too much at face value without getting a chance to meet someone, know them, and actually getting the chance to dig into who they are as a person. And I think that can be a negative. Because sometimes we need to think outside of the box. So it's like, if we're doing this and this isn't working, okay, let's do the opposite. you know? And a lot of people don't even think about, hey, let's do the opposite. They keep going after that same idea that they want instead of saying, all right, so this is not working for me. Why don't I try somebody I would never talk to? Maybe that is where I need to go. And I don't think people pick up on that because they don't know themselves enough to do that.
Exactly. And I definitely I agree with that like fully because like you just said, like inside the box. I don't know why for some reason, but the analogy that I had in my head was like a kid in the candy store. It's like you're
Yes,
always like you're there. So if you're in the candy store and that's what you got, oh, everything I like is around me. But you're not in the next door where it's like, oh wait, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I like that's not candy over here. So you're
Yeah.
just in the place where you're like, I like this and that's what I like. So you're in one environment and you're picking out the options that are all around you because that's what you're given. It's accessible. You have a tool to say, I like this. What do I like? Bam, bam, bam. It's convenient. It's easy.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're not giving yourself a chance to even experience anything outside of your box. You're just living in your box because you can put yourself there. It's comfortable. It's satisfactory. It's exactly what you're looking for. But we don't know what the fuck we're looking for most of the time. You're
There you
trying to
go.
yeah, you're trying to find something that you're trying to find something, especially as something as complicated as a relationship. There's been times where I've met people and I'm like, I, I don't want to talk to somebody. I don't want to do this or whatever. Then you have a
Mm.
conversation with somebody, you're like, wow, like it's fun. It's interesting
Yeah.
what we're talking about right now. It's this and it's that or whatever. And then you realize like, oh damn, like I had a great time talking. I've been in certain places. I'm not trying to ramble, but I've been in certain places and I mean, not even just talking about relationships or whatever, but I've been in like stores and stuff like that or whatever, where it's like maybe like, somebody who's friendly will come in, you got those talkers that come up to you.
Yes.
Hey, how you doing? What's going on? That's a great day, isn't it? And then you're like, oh my God, just leave me the hell alone. I'm just trying to do what I'm trying to do. And then it's like sometimes you get those people and it's like they come over and they start talking about some interesting stuff. Hey man, don't go
Yes.
over that. This guy just came over there. And you're like, what? What happened? And then you're like, you're interacting with this person that 5 seconds ago you were like, please don't nobody talk to me. Leave me the hell alone. I'm in my damn, pajamas. I'm just trying to get some cereal real quick. And then you're like, now you're engaged. Now it's like attraction. You're like, what happened? Oh, really, sir? Oh my God, you're awesome. Thank you for telling me. Like, oh, I didn't know that. If I went over, it's very interesting what people, think they know what they want, but you're limiting your options from
Exactly.
outer perspective. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I know exactly what I'm trying to say right
No,
now.
you're saying it right. I know exactly what you're saying because it's true. It's like we think we want something and then you don't. Like you may think you want a car. It might be a nice car, but you kind of don't want it. And I guess an example would be my daughter. She was telling me about Teslas and she wants one. So she has a Tesla fund that she's saving up for. And
Oh,
we looked at the car, we read about it. And at first it sounded nice. I was like, yeah, I really want one of those. And then I was like, wait a minute. I have to plug it up. I can't just go get gas. And so that kind of changed my perspective. So I was like, Dawson, I was like, how about if we just get a car that looks like one, but I can put gas in it? Because I know I'm impatient. So I know that if I didn't plug it up the night before and then having to have a charging station at my house and calling out an electrician, I'm like, that's just way too much work for me. But,
yeah.
at first the thought sounded amazing. But then once I did my research, and I think that's how it is with people. It's like it may sound amazing at first, but once you start doing your research and get to know them, you're just like, oh, not all is like it's not all you thought it was. It's
Yeah.
just a lot. It's just totally different. So she's still saving for one. I told her we would save her pennies, and hopefully, by the time she get 18, she can have one. But
I mean, something else completely different. Flying cars. You know what I mean? Like,
I know,
yeah.
right? Teslas would be a thing of the past. So she saved, at least she's saving for something. So, that's a plus. She's saving her money. But, I think that's just how we do. I guess just because we're people, that's just how we do things because we don't know anything else outside of our own experience. So if this is all we know, all we've seen, all we've experienced, how would we know we might be happier in a different situation?
Very true, man. That's very true. So let me ask you, because like I said, this is one of the things I did want to touch on was okay, so here, let's just get to the, bread and butter. What do you think in 2020? What would you give as a straight direction? You got to put your thinking hat on for this one.
Okay.
What what would you say is a good relationship now between two people? What would you say something if you had to put it together and give like a definition to a good, successful relationship, just in your opinion, what would you call
I would think a good relationship would be one where there's trust, one where that you can talk about anything. And it doesn't have to be perfect because you would still have arguments, you would still have disagreements. But the point is, you would listen and you would try to understand where they're coming from. You would hear what they're saying and listen instead of like just jumping to conclusions. I think it would be a relationship where people know each other and they're comfortable with each other to tell each other anything, to talk about anything, and just to be totally transparent where everything goes. You can look at their phone, you don't have to, you can trust, you can be on Facebook, you don't have to. And it's like, I know a lot of times you don't have to be on the same Facebook page that your significant other is on, but if that's what makes you feel comfortable, you guys decided you wanted to do that, then that will be fine. I just think you need to know each other, you need to trust each other, and be transparent, because transparency is the key. We're always going to have things that we do wrong because we're human and none of us are perfect, but you learn from your mistakes. And if you're transparent, then your spouse will know, okay, they screwed up, but we have this understanding, we talk, we have this relationship where we can work together and work through things. So I think it's not even about the perfection, it's just about transparency and about knowing each other and trusting each other. And also, both parties know that this is worth fighting for. That's
Yeah.
key, because if you don't think something is worth fighting for, then it's easy to throw it away because it means nothing. But if you know this is worth fighting for, regardless of what happens, how bad it gets, what you go through, you're going to work together and you're going to stay together because it's worth fighting for.
Yo, that was beautiful what you just said. You said a whole bunch of things that was like catching my ear right away. One of the biggest things that you said in that description was the word understanding, yo. I think that's one of the biggest things that kind of don't get as much you know as much credit, that's needed, because through my time and through my relationships and things like that or whatever, what I've experienced more than anything, like a lot of people throw out, be trust that person, have trust, have faith, have this and that. But you want to know something? A lot of people, I feel like a lot of people don't talk about being understanding, yo. Like you said, we're
Because
human.
it takes a lot to be understanding. I mean, trust is, I think, is okay. You can trust somebody, but to understand why somebody did something, to understand why someone may be hurting and not explaining that to you, to understand why you may be in an argument and someone is just like, well, I don't want to talk about it right now, leave me alone. And it may not be that they're just like resisting what you're saying. They may need time just to be away to process that situation and come back. But if you don't understand that, you're going to take it for a totally different thing. And I think understanding requires us to come outside of ourselves and see things from a different perspective, which is hard to do. And it's uncomfortable to do that, because that means you kind of look like a sucker, but you're not. You are just being understanding. And no one likes to feel like they're out of control. And when you're understanding, it kind of makes you feel out of control and it's uncomfortable. But it's something that you have to do to have a successful relationship.
That was awesome. Yo, listen, I feel like getting a pen and paper right now and just writing it down, because literally, that was a grand description, yo. I can't put it in any better words, yo. Because I've always said, I feel like being understanding, especially when you are in a deeper relationship, the beginning is hard.
Hmm.
Being understanding person in the beginning is a little harder, because you're still
Yeah,
getting to know each other. You still don't really have enough information to kind of put together a perspective in another person's
hmm,
shoes, if you can. But when you've been in a
right.
long-term relationship, like, definitely being understanding is the one of the most important things I can think of, because you have to, like you just said, you have to try to say, no matter what the situation is, he did this and that's why he did it, and that's what it is. Even if he did mean that, he did it and that's what it is. Like, nah, bro, you have to kind of take a second and say, well, I know him. I know he did that. He probably meant it to be this, and this is what it is. He told me he meant it to be this. So I'm not going to try to blow it out of proportion and take it to a
Right.
whole new level where it could
Hmm.
possibly be. But if I'm being reasonable, if I'm being rational, if I'm trying to be logical even, then I'm going to sit there and try to give the benefit of the doubt to the person that I've been dating for a year or 2 years or
Exactly.
5 years. That shit is very important, man, because like you said, yo, we are human. We make mistakes. People, I know I make them. I make
Hey,
them
we all do.
yeah, as a man, I'm definitely not gonna, like, I'm not crapping on men or whatever, but I know that there's things that we do sometimes and we may get in trouble and we may say the wrong thing, or anger gets involved and things happen, people get, their emotions tied up into certain situations or whatever. Maybe you saw something that you thought was this and you reacted on it and you didn't want to
Yeah.
react on it. It was an accident, but still, if you have a woman that's understanding and she can look at it and say, well, I can definitely see why my man, got upset about this. Now you guys can talk about it. And it's brought into a different world than just the argument. You shouldn't have been doing that. That's why, no, but I was trying to do this because I thought that you were doing this. But it doesn't matter because you said another thing you said that was really crazy about the phones being, like you said, transparency.
Yeah.
The people with the locks on the phone. Listen. This is a topic that's going to itch some people. I'm telling you right now, this is a topic that's going to itch some people the wrong way. Because listen, all right, this is my viewpoint. And Keana, I want you to think about this as I'm talking about it real quick.
Okay.
To me, all right, I understand there's certain ways, like I said, being understanding. There's reasons for certain people to have a lock on their phone. Some people are like, oh, if I lose my phone, I don't want people to get access to my phone. So I put a lock on my phone. Gotcha. Oh, if I do this, I'm at a job and I don't want my phone to drop and somebody to look at it or see it or something like that or whatever. I have a job where I have to keep my professional appearance, whatever. Gotcha. Besides that, I don't know why it's so important for people to lock their phone around their other bro. I don't know what it is. Besides, you got something you want to hide. Do you agree?
No, I agree with you. I agree because it's one of those things. It's like, and if you do have a lock on your phone, then the other person should know what it is. Like I have one on my phone just because I don't want to lose it. And my kids have it all the time. And if they leave it somewhere, I don't want someone to pick it up and be able to access my information. But the crazy thing is, everybody knows what it is. That's the thing. My kids can go on my phone. Anybody can go on my phone because everybody knows what my password is. And that's the whole thing. And my kids are like, well, how come you have a password if we know what it is? I was like, because I don't care if you see what I have. Like they read my messages and everything. They be going through it, looking at it. Mom, how come this? But I have nothing to hide, so I don't care if my phone is there. I don't care if it's up. I don't care who sees it because I'm not hiding anything. And like I said, everybody knows what my password is, so you can always go on my phone. And I don't even care if people go on my phone because it's not that deep. Like, not like I have anything on it to hide anyway. So it's like you can check my Facebook, you can look at it because it's open. It's like I don't even care because there's nothing on there that I'm hiding from anybody. So
this is the craziest thing. Like you just said something else too. This is the craziest thing about the time period that we live in currently. Okay, we have these devices that we walk around consistently. Every day we have a computer in our pocket. So now it's a lot harder to hide evidence, yo. It's a lot harder to keep track of every lie or deceitful thing that you're trying to do. Okay, what was it? Before you just had to make sure that the girl that you were seeing or the guy you were seeing didn't call the house when your husband's home or when your wife's home. Now you literally, like you just said, 9 times out of 10, if you're doing something that's like, if you're sneaking around or you're doing this, you're cheating or whatever, you got this person texting you. You got this person hitting you up on your email. You got this person sending a letter to your house or whatever the case may be. Calling your phone, doing this, doing that, hitting up your Facebook, hitting up your Instagram, hitting up your TikTok, whatever the case may be. So now you have all these different things that you have to cover your ass with in our time that we have now. You feel me? You got a Snapchat, fresh new Snapchat, and it's your girl that you cheating with, and she's sending you a sexy picture or something like that or whatever. Bam, left your phone on the bed. It's not locked. It's open. So she swiped it up and looks at it. Bam, that's one of your things. You couldn't even erase that. It erases itself. No. But you got caught. You feel me? It's so many things where you can't just, text message. Okay, let me delete it. Text message. Or maybe you forget to delete it and then you leave your phone out in the bed. Honey, I don't got nothing to hide. My phone's not locked. Check it. I deleted everything out that shit anyway. So you can check it all you want. You feel me? It's a front move.
Yes.
But now there's so much to keep up with. You know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, you don't just got the one person you're talking to when you're just texting them. You got their Facebook, you got their Instagram, you got their Twitter, you got all that shit.
Yeah, it's a lot, yeah.
So it's a lot to keep up with the lie. You know what I mean? You're gonna slip up, bro. It's very rare. I mean, there's probably a couple of James Bond detectives out there that's over there able to cheat and hide all the evidence, with Mission Impossible style. But it's hard to consistently keep up the evidence. Like, oh, I'm not doing anything. My phone's unlocked. You don't got no reason to trust me. So it is kind of an interesting thing, yo. Because when I think about people having their phones locked, I'm like immediately, like we just talked about, I'm saying to myself in my head, what do you gotta hide? What do you need the phone locked for? My phone is open. You can look at my damn, like just like you said, my phone's actually open. I hate when I've got to do something and you got to click the screen and or typing your numbers for every 5 minutes. I hate it. So I'm just like, listen, bro, I use this shit for a GPS. I don't feel like when the phone turns off by accident, you got to turn it back on. Listen, my shit is open. So, but you're over here trying to have your phone open and you're doing stuff. So you're trying to prove that's like your identity, or your secret identity. Like, my phone's unlocked, but you're over there trying to delete everything that you're doing so nobody catches you. It's very
crazy.
Yeah,
and here's the thing. Like, I think that no matter how good of a lock you put on your phone, like, my kids can hack me. They have before. And it was funny because one day it was on my computer. They were trying to find a password because they know I consider my computer to be like my job. So I'm like, no one touch my computer. Leave it alone. I don't want you around it. But they were sitting over here one day, and then my daughter Megan, she was like, Mom, I found the password to your computer. I was like, what? Huh? And she hacked into it. And I was just like, okay. So I'm just thinking, if my kids can hack into something, then why would you think your significant other, as well as they know you, cannot figure out what your password is and get into your phone?
For real.
Like, kids can hack you.
So these kids nowadays, man, these kids know stuff that we don't even know. You know what I mean? Like one thing that I always say is the kids that are coming up now. Even my son was born in like the 2010s and everything, and they're born into this world, man. We kind of grew into it and adapted it as we were coming up and everything, but these kids nowadays are born into technology, so they know how to do this stuff at the beginning. My daughter now, she's a year and some change, and she's over here. She picks up the phone. She knows how to swipe it up so she can look at the stuff. She knows how to move it over. She pulls the thing down so they know what they're doing now, man. Yeah, it's gonna be harder for people to see, especially as technology develops and the different, stuff starts coming out where it's like you really can't lie or whatever. Like, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, it is. And I know, like, with my girls, they are so into technology. Even my 11-year-old, she will tell me things. Mom, you don't have to do it that way. You can just do it that way. And then she'll get her little attitude. Mom, that's the old way of doing it. All you have to do is touch this button. And I'm just looking like, and I thought I was doing a good job, because I'm just like, wow, I'm into technology. I consider myself to be technology, to be savvy with technology. Yeah. But after talking to my kids, you're just like, okay, clearly I know nothing. That is okay. And, they'll give you ways to do different things. But I take everything they tell me. And in our house, my middle daughter, my husband and I, whenever we need something connected, figured out, or done, we're just like, Megan, come here. We need you to do this. And she will sit down and figure it out. It's like, did you do this? Did you try this? She'll troubleshoot the whole thing. Yeah. And you're just looking like, wow.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. They know what they're doing with this technology, yo. And that's another good point of this conversation. Like, we're talking about, like we just said, like relationships in 2020. And I'm just saying 2020 because it's the latest year. But what I mean by that is just relationships in this time period, man. It's a completely different thing, like we've been conversating about. But it's like you have so many different things that you can do, and so many different ways to meet people, and so many different options. Like you said at the beginning, if you have an issue or you have a problem or you have something where it comes up, back in the day it was easier because it was like, okay, I met this person, I really like them. I got this going on. Oh, speed bump. Okay, damn, we got to figure this out. Now we got to work together. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a backup plan in your pocket. So it's like, he didn't do this right. Okay, well, look at Johnny over here. I like him. He looks like he'd do it right. You have somebody in 5 seconds. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to go anywhere. You just open your
That
damn
is true.
device that you got sitting on you 24/7, and you got another option, another option. Maybe he
Mhm.
wouldn't do this to me. You know what I mean? Before it was like, oh, you got to go to the grocery store and put on a cute dress or, a nice shirt and do your hair right and
That is true.
bump into somebody. But now you don't gotta do all that shit, man. You literally just meet somebody at the
Mhm.
drop of a dime, So it does make a difference. Exactly, the time period makes a difference, and I'm pretty sure that that's the reason. I haven't looked at any statistics or anything. I kind of wanted to, but
Yeah.
as far as as a matter of fact, I'm probably gonna beeline. You know your boy. I'll be posting stuff at the end. I'm gonna find some statistics. I'm gonna post them on the screen in this part of the video because I want to know what the range is from like the divorce rate from 1990, two or 95 or whatever to the divorce rate
Yeah.
now. I'm pretty sure it's, astronomical. Like the changes are probably, crazy because people are
Yeah.
more
It's
confident
like,
now.
I know I did a show a while ago about like divorce rates and pretty much just talking about why people, it's like a 50% chance or higher in your first marriage that that you'll get a divorce. Then once you go to your second marriage, it's like 67%. Once you get to third, it's like 73% chance that you'll get a divorce. And so it's just like each time it gets higher and higher and higher. And I think it's because no one ever fixes the problems that they had first. So it's not the person you were with that's the problem. The problem is like the baggage and all the stuff you carry with you that you have never corrected or fixed. All the issues that your partner has that they have not corrected and fixed. So it's like so you're bringing baggage, and each time you leave a relationship, you have more baggage from what happened in that one. And if you don't take time to fix it, that's why the divorce rate goes up instead of down when you continue to get remarried. And you would think it would go down because you would learn from your mistakes, but that's not the case because no one takes time to heal or work on themselves or fix themselves. Like you said, it's just so easy. You get rid of one person, you can easily find somebody else within a week or two, a month or two, and you don't take time to work on yourself because at the end of the day, marriage is about you working on yourself, your spouse working on themselves, and then you guys working together as a unit. And if you're not working on yourself, then you can't self-assess and see how your behavior and actions are contributing to what is happening in your relationship.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Let me ask you this, Keanu. You actually just brought up another good topic or whatever. I have my own kind of mentality, where it's like I
Mm-hmm.
feel like for people when things happen, like you just said with the divorce rate, which is very
Right.
interesting. You get your first marriage, and then a certain percentage, it's like okay, bam, you want to do this. Then some people get to their second marriage, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, well, that's going to last even less than my first one. Then you get third marriage.
Yeah.
Listen, this is easy by now. I kind of got this perspective to where it's like when people go through something or they experience something, it's easier. It's an easier kind of I don't know if easier is the best word, but it's more of a, I guess it's an easier way to deal with it. Okay. And when I say
Mm-hmm.
this, let me just give an example because my articulation of words and shit like that comes and goes. I'm good sometimes and I'm bad sometimes. But say you get married. Okay, the marriage
Mm-hmm.
is this, marriage is that. You got high hopes, your first time being married. You've never done marriage before. But you go through the process, you try to make it work for as much as you can, but it's your first time. You want to make your
Right.
first time work. It's amazing. It's great. It's doing this, it's doing that, it's doing that. But for some reason, bam, that flame just goes out. And it's like, okay, well, it just didn't work. Okay, da-da-da-da-da. Let's try again. You meet somebody. Oh, okay. Well, this person might be right. That one didn't work. I got experience here. Now
Yeah.
I got this one. I'm not going to make the same mistakes that I made before. I know the mistakes I made before. Now I'm going to do better. I'm pretty sure everybody goes in with that mentality.
Yeah, they do.
I'm going to do better. You know what I'm saying? Then you
Mm-hmm.
sit there and get married, and then shit comes up because, like you said before, Keanu, you made a great point. You said the words, we are all human. People are
Right.
going to change, evolve, go
Exactly.
through struggles. Everything's going to come up in those situations. So you got the second marriage go around, and then the rocky road start to hit. Now you have the experience of the divorce. You've been in the thing where I was married and now I ain't married no more. I got married
Exactly.
again. So now the percentage is a little higher because I don't need to do this shit. I knew I didn't need to do it with that one, and I know I don't need to do it with you. Do you think that's like a kind of a thought process that goes through people's head? And that's the reason why those percentages get higher and higher, whether you go to the second and the third and everything like that. Because people do understand I don't have to put up with this shit. I can go get a divorce. I've done it already. You ain't showing me nothing new. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that is one aspect of it because they do know that they don't have to deal with anything. But I think another aspect of it is more emotional. Like most people don't like to fail, and if they have already feel like they failed in the first marriage, they don't want to try to fail again in the second marriage. But what they haven't done was take the time to sit with their emotions because nobody wants to feel sad. Like it's not fun to be in a place where you're sad or in a depressed state or whatever. But sometimes you have to deal with those emotions because when you lose a relationship, it's almost like you know how when someone dies, you have to grieve through that person and it's a grieving process. So in a relationship, when you lose it, you still have to grieve. So you have to go through like anger and
Yes.
you have issues that you have to go through. You really do, like bargaining with God and all of these things. The same things you would go through with grief, you have to go through when you lose a relationship because that is a loss and it's a significant loss for you. And so unless you actually grieve that, and then after you grieve that, get help to work on yourself because we all know where we have our issues and what we could have done better. And even if you weren't the person who quote unquote did the thing that destroyed the marriage, you contributed to it. So you have to look at what your part was. You have to talk that out, work that out, heal from that experience. Because if you don't, you're going to take whatever happened in that first marriage into the second one. So if you were cheated on, you're going to distrust the other person and be controlling to the second person because you're going to be like, well, I'm not going to let this happen to me again. So you're going to guard yourself, but you're not doing it the right way. You never healed from that experience. And so that is one of the reasons why I think the second marriage may not work out, especially if you don't heal. Now, if you saw a counselor and you took time to heal from it and you gave yourself maybe a year or two to work on yourself, work through what you're going through, actually grieve and sit with your feelings, then I think the chances would go, the divorce rate statistics would go down because you've healed yourself and you become the better version of yourself. So then, once you're whole again, you can go ahead and be with someone else. But you can't really have a relationship if you are broken because a broken person cannot have a relationship or help somebody else because you are broken and what you have to offer is not the best that it could be. So you have to be whole again. And then once you're whole, you can move on and have a relationship. Because I think people who get divorced should get married again. You should have a second chance to love. But I think you have to heal yourself and be whole so that you give your relationship a chance. Because if you don't, you're not giving yourself a chance.
Yeah, yeah. You just said, like, I mean, literally, I'm definitely gonna make a whole. I do something on the Beeline where I call it the Beeline cuts, and I take parts of the interviews or the conversations, and I just make them shorter so people can watch them. And that whole part right there will be a Beeline cut. I'm telling you right now, because you just said a whole mouthful of very, very, very good information. Um, the one thing like that you caught my eye with, I've been saying it for years, for years.
Mhm.
The one thing about a breakup, man, is breakup feels like a death, yo.
Yeah.
Especially, especially for the people who, that kind of completely change, or if you get cheated on by somebody and you're like, you knew this person and this person was this way and they treated you this way and they treated you that way, and then you guys had problems or things changed
Mhm.
along the line, and then all of a sudden this person was somebody completely different than the other person. Yeah, they're alive, but that person that you thought you knew is gone, man.
Right.
And I think a lot of times people try to sit there and try to make that person come back, and some people are successful, but there's a lot of times, I think personally, where it's just like maybe that person always was that person, and
Yeah, you just see who they are now.
yeah, and you're just seeing exactly who they are. And now you're in mourning for the person that you lost. And that's the person that ain't
Exactly.
here anymore. It's like a death, yo. I was saying that shit since I was young. That's why when you said it, I was like, holy shit. Like, um, also what you were saying about, being married and, people trying to people not taking enough time to figure out what they need, especially after having an unsuccessful
Exactly.
relationship, because that shit is really important, man. Me and IT Tip, my co-host, you haven't gotten a chance to meet IT Tip.
No,
You
I
can see her.
haven't had the pleasure yet.
Yeah, I wish my baby was on here, but she got this week. But one of the things we talk about is when we first got together is we didn't plan on, we were just kind of just talking. We were just gonna have fun with each other, and
Mhm.
one thing led to another, and but one thing that I was doing before I met her was I took 3 years. I took 3 years after my last relationship, and I was like,
Mhm.
yo, I don't want to do nothing with anybody. I want to get to know what's going on with me. I want to figure out what my problems are. I want to figure out what I need to grow on and what I need to work on so I can be successful in a relationship. Because I did acknowledge that I
Exactly.
wasn't well in them. I never was really good at relationships. I got a hot temper. I'm this and that. But at the same time, it's like, and I'm very impatient with a lot of things. And I understand that. I understand how those flaws, cause me to have a lot of, issues when I'm trying to deal with another person. So, like, taking that time off for myself helped me, you know, get into a good situation like I'm in now. You know what I mean? And I don't think that
Exactly.
anybody can go through anything without having those self-reflection moments. Like, you can't just consistently think, oh, it's just that person. Oh yeah, it was me,
Right.
but I'm not gonna do that next time. Like, even that's a big one. That's even worse than just
Yes.
thinking it was the person. When you just think, oh, I know the mistakes I made, I'm just not gonna do them this time. Listen,
Yeah,
bro.
that's a problem because you're going to do it again because you did it the first time. My whole thing is like, why do we think that all these traits that we have that took us years to develop, that we can just all of a sudden say, oh, I'm not doing that anymore? If it was that easy, we would have almost a perfect society because people would say, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. And they wouldn't do it. Like, your intent may not be to do it anymore, but that's like the core of who you are. You have to actually change your behavior so that you won't do that. Just saying it is not going to stop a thing. It'll make you feel confident that you're in control of your behavior, but you're not. So, yeah, that
Yeah.
doesn't help at all.
Yeah, man, that's definitely, and it's definitely a big point because I think most people, you know what I mean, there's assholes out there who, just want to do whatever they want to do, whatever, and stuff like that or whatever. But I think, just giving people the benefit of the doubt. There's a lot of people out there. It's like, I made mistakes. I don't want to make those mistakes anymore, and I'm just going to try again. I'm going to get back on the horse or whatever. I'm going to try, like, not to fall off this time. But
Mhm.
like you said, you really have to self-reflect, man. You really have to
Exactly.
understand what you're bringing to the table, understand what you need at the table, understand what you're looking for to go buy to bring to the table even. And those are important, factors, because when you're in a relationship, and I'm not no damn expert, anybody can say whatever they want, comment in the comments, tell me I'm full of shit, whatever. Kiana is definitely way more, she knows her shit way more than I do. But I think that when you're in a relationship and you're trying to do something, everybody goes in it positively, like, for the most
Mhm.
part, unless you're just,
Yes.
bullshit. If you're trying to do a real relationship and you like somebody, and you're like, I want to do this the right way. I want to do this, I want to have a strong foundation. I want to build. I want to have a family. I want to do all the great things that come with a strong, loyal, passionate relationship. I think people usually go into that wholeheartedly, not,
Exactly.
with the thought process of, oh well, now we got problems. Oh, I'm just gonna go do something else. Oh well, things aren't fun anymore, so I'm just gonna go do something else. It's easy to do that shit, but it's
Exactly.
hard to stay and maintain and grow and connect, and we read between the lines. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
it's just a very interesting topic, yo. I think that one of the things that is happening with today's society, where it is a fast-paced society, man.
It is.
Everybody wants shit in 5 minutes. You want to click on Amazon.com and get your
Hmm.
damn little, doohickeys or whatever sent to you in 5 minutes, and
Yeah.
enjoy your damn, life in an instant. But when it comes to putting hard work and dedication and loyalty and trust and respect and disappointment and unhappiness
Exactly.
into a person or a relation, whatever, man, it's very hard to keep that, knowing there's thousands and thousands of other things that you can have at your fingertips, man. I
No,
think
it's
that
so
is
true.
I think that is a big
Because I
thing, man.
was, yeah, I remember, 'cause I think a lot of times, I don't even think we can blame people for the way their relationships turn out because sometimes we're just going by what we've seen modeled to us from our parents or from people that we knew. And we have to be honest, they didn't always do it right. And as kids, especially our generation, we saw a lot of stuff. And a lot of things that we saw was not the correct way to have a relationship. It wasn't the right way to do it. But when that's all you see and that's all you know, and your parents are doing it that way, and your aunts and your uncles and everybody's doing the same thing, then you don't know anything different. You just think this is normal. And when you think this is normal, you just model the behavior that you've seen. And unless you can recognize that your family was dysfunctional and that they were broken, you can't even know that you have taken those same traits and you're doing the same thing. You just won't know it because you're just modeling the behavior you've seen.
You want to know what's interesting too, Kiana, that what
Hmm.
you just said. The reason why I think a lot of people don't know is because I don't think there's not a lot of comparison if you think about it.
It's
If
not.
Yeah, if you're growing up in a situation where you're coming from a bad, not even a bad. I don't want to go too drastic, but let's say you're in one of those situations where it's like, okay, you see a relationship with your mother and father. Maybe they argue a lot. They argue a
Right.
lot. You're seeing that. You don't understand that that's not a good thing because that's what you know.
Exactly.
That's what you've seen. That's what you're used to. So you grew up, like you said, with those same patterns and characteristics. I think Tiff would love this conversation because she talks to me about stuff like this all the time. But you go through those same patterns and those same things or whatever because you've seen that. That's what you know. It's not until you see something
Exactly.
that starts putting you into a different kind of perspective. You're like, well, wait a second, why don't they fight all like mommy and daddy does? Why don't
Hmm.
they, whether it be on TV and nowadays, whether it be online, whether it be, whether
Right.
you see Uncle Frank and Aunt, Gina, whatever, they're all happy and cuddle up and kissing each other on Facebook and they look like. So you got a lot of different little, comparisons to make now. Mommy and
Right.
daddy don't have pictures like that. Now you looking, now you curious, like why is it like
Hmm.
this? It gives people a little bit more of a broader kind of range to analyze things. But if all you know is, like you said, just that pattern of what you're seeing, and you've never been introduced to any kind of comparison, situation, then yeah,
Hmm.
you're gonna grow up with those same bad, traits and everything like that that you've been taught. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's definitely a weird. It's a very weird topic, man. Because I think
It
everybody
is.
would love to have their significant other, and you guys fight well, and you guys work things out, and it lasts because longevity
Yes.
is so important, especially when you got kids and you want to be there together for the kids. You don't have stepmoms and
Exactly.
stepdads, and you want that shit, man. I'm pretty sure everybody wants that, but
I think they do. Yeah.
yeah, the complication that comes around it is, you can't ignore it. And I'm pretty sure it's
Hmm.
gotten a lot worse now where everything is way more at your fingertips, man. It's just easier to go elsewhere than to stay stagnated in the same thing, trying to fix the broken car that ain't running well anymore. I can just buy one in 5 minutes and just get a new car. Oh, fuck it. I'm gonna get a new car then. Nah. Try to fix the shit that's been with you, working with you, helping you. You know that car. You've been
Hmm.
driving it to work. Don't get the new car that's flashing and dashing and find out the shit don't even run. You know,
Yeah. And then
difficult.
here's the thing. It's like even if you decide you want to get a new car or, you don't want to be with the person you're with, think about it. You're going to start over again. So all the things that your spouse already knows about you, all the connections, everything you already had from years of being together. Okay, so you're going to throw that away and now you got to start all over again. So all the things you went through the first 10 years, you're going to go through again because this is a new person and they don't know you and you don't know them. And you're going to have to build all these connections all over again.
Right.
And sometimes it's almost one of these things like you, regardless of whether you decide to stay or where you decide to go, you're going to lose something. But do you want to lose something with somebody you already know or someone you're with? And the thing is, just because you guys are in a bad spot at that moment doesn't mean you're going to be there all the time. See, that's a good thing about life. It's like, okay, so this month was rough. We didn't do so good. But who's to say next month won't be better? And if you guys start just implementing small things like saying kind things to each other, if you guys feel like you want to argue, don't cool off first and then come back with different ways to talk about things. Who's to say that things won't get better? Because I have seen marriages that were terrible. Like you're just like, wow, these people shouldn't even be together. But they worked on it and they changed the direction and the course of their marriage. And I think that any marriage can be salvaged. Now, the only time I say you should probably like let it go is if there's abuse, because I don't think that's acceptable in any form. And I don't think you should stick around for that type of disrespect. But if it's something where you guys are just like arguing and you're just not getting along, or you think that you're no longer in love with each other, things like that can be fixed. It can be worked on. That's like the least of your problems. You can work on these issues and it can get better. But if you decide not to work on it, you're going to be hurt. You're going to be sad. You're going to feel the whole loss process, and you're going to take that into another relationship. And you're just going to perpetuate the same cycle. And so I always say, if you can fix what you have, please work on it. It's better for you emotionally, it's better for you financially. It's just better for you all the way around. It really is.
The
So,
beginning stage of something that's new is always fun, man. It's always fun. And I'm not gonna even lie. If I'm not gonna lie to you, Beeline, your boy is just like you just said, man. I always looked at like, meeting somebody new was like an interview process, man. When you lost your job and you got to go to the interview and try to, represent yourself and build yourself up and sell yourself. That's the same shit with dating, man. It's the same thing. You got to meet somebody and you're trying to see if they're good for you. You're trying to make yourself good for them. That shit is a hassle, man. It's something that if you have something, and like you said, it's not, completely broken to the point where it's like, oh man, listen, I just have to stop playing with this.
right.
It's time to throw it to the side and go find something else. But if you're just instantly, there's a chip on it or something like that, broken, I'm done, I just want to get out of here. If you're fast to just let something go, that is definitely worth, the progression or the time it takes to make it great, man. Don't give up, man. I think people just give up on a lot of stuff too easy, man. People want things, I keep saying instant because like that's the best thing terminology I can use, yo.
It's
People
true
want
though.
shit now. They want it. They don't want to wait, and they want it to be great forever. I don't want anything to go wrong because I can just get something new or whatever. My little thing broke up, I'll throw it away, go get something new. Have it shipped to them in 5 minutes. It doesn't even take long. So with that kind of mentality, I think that is kind of disrupting people where you're not even giving things a chance anymore. And relationships are, one of the top 5 of that list. So you're not giving things a chance anymore. You're gonna
No, and
have,
it's unrealistic.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
man.
unrealistic to think you're not going to have problems. Like, come on, you're taking two different people from two different backgrounds, two different belief systems, and two, different values, different morals. You put them together, and you think you're not going to have problems. To think like that is totally unrealistic. And the funny thing is, if you want a long-term relationship that lasts for maybe 20, 30 years, until you guys die together or something like that, it's one of those things where the longer you're married, you're going to have issues. It's not like you get rid of your issues and problems forever and you never have any. No, you continue to have issues, but you continue to work on them. There is such a thing as perpetual issues in a marriage where there are things you guys just will never agree on. You can never come to a resolution. But it's fine as long as you find a way to navigate around that where it does not affect the relationship. So you don't have to agree on everything and you won't. But the point is, you need to work together, see the value in each other and in what you have, and work toward it. Because every single marriage pretty much can be saved. You just have to have that commitment and put in the work. And that's the thing, you have to put in work. And it's constantly learning, constantly reevaluating yourself, doing self assessments, and realizing You cannot change your spouse. And if you're trying to do that, then that's not going to work. You can only change you. And when you change yourself and you become the best person that you can be, it actually rubs off and it makes your marriage better because you no longer get mad at the things you used to get mad at. You change how you do things and it has a positive effect on everybody in your house. So I think that's just how it is. We have to just change the way we think about marriage. We can't think about the fairy tale version and they live happily ever after. Because that was just a story. That wasn't for real. That's not real life. We're not going to live happily ever after, but we can live and thrive and grow, you know, throughout our marriage. So I just think that we need to change our perception and our mindset of what marriage really is and what a good marriage is. Because some people will think that if you argue, it's not a good marriage. You can have a good marriage and argue,
Yeah,
you
I'm trying
know,
to. I can't
that's just
imagine.
how it is.
I can't imagine not arguing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm
Yeah.
not to say like that your goal is to argue, but I'm saying like you just said, it's you're two different people. Like you want to have two different sides. It's actually helping you guys grow closer together. Do you want to be with
Hmm.
somebody that just thinks exactly like how you think? Oh, babe, we should do this. Oh, yeah, I thought the same thing. Okay, that's the most boring shit you're gonna experience. Like you want to
Yeah.
have that other side that's gonna give you something different, a different way for you to think. So it is a new introduction. It keeps things interesting. It keeps things going. So if you can say, no, I
Yeah.
think this. No, I think this. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, we understand. I understand why you think that way. I understand why you think that too, baby. Let's work on this together. Maybe we can do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Now you're working things out. Now
Exactly.
you listen, Keana. Yo, it has been great having you on the show. I am going to spend so much time. I mean, I haven't even re-listened to this yet. Usually, I listen to I do a podcast and I listen to it in my truck when I'm driving, and I'm like, okay, it was way better than I thought it was. This right here, I'm listening to it, and we have touched on
Yeah.
some really, really, really good topics that I really, really hope people take the full time out and listen to this whole interview. I'm going to break this down a lot. You have a lot of good things to say about relationships and please shout your podcast out so everybody. I'm gonna put it in the link in the description to everything because yeah, that was amazing, yo. You got me over here
Okay.
self-reflecting and
Well,
thinking
thanks.
about just my shit. Like that was great. Go
All
ahead,
right.
shout your
Well,
podcast out so people follow you.
okay. Well, the name of my podcast is the Music and Vibes Podcast, and it's on Apple, it's on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, anywhere you can find a podcast. I'm there. And if you have Castbox on your iPhone or Android, I'm there as well. So you can find me.
Beautiful, man. Yeah, yeah. This was very informative. Like, yo, I have like the reason why I'm trying to like cut it down because I mean I'll go for like 3 hours talking about this is one of those topics where it's like, this is something that pretty much everybody's dealing with, yo. Most people are trying to,
Yeah.
the American dream, is you want to get you a family, you want to get a nice house with a good job, everybody making money. That's the American dream. That's like what the country
Hmm.
supposedly is supposed to be, built on. But and I say
Exactly.
supposedly because I'm not gonna get into that, but it's a
No, but I
good,
know where you're going, so I feel that.
you feel me?
Yeah.
It's a good thing though, man. You want people to, grow up and build and make character. And, I've always thought since I was younger, like, the household should be mommy and daddy, holding their roles, being the role models, and teaching,
Exactly.
the younger generation in the household as well as what they experience outside. So you can kind of keep it together. Yeah, I know you saw that, Billy, but this is what it's supposed to be. Sometimes it happens, but you're not supposed to do it like that. That's the whole point of foundation, man, and growth
Exactly.
and prosperity as far as like, what's going on in the country and shit like that or whatever. But it's easy to get lost now because people have so many different things that they can see, yo. And with relationships, I do feel like it is something that, I heard a study a while back where people were saying the minority will soon, if it continues the way it's going, the minority will be the married and the
Yeah.
majority will be the divorced or the single whatever. That's some
Hmm.
scary shit, man. That's some creepy stuff to realize. Like the family unit is going to be taken away, and that was something that was so beneficial to the future's progression. Like you
Exactly.
need a good strong foundation to build anything, a
That's
good
true.
strong
Yeah.
foundation to build anything. And if you're taking that shit away because everybody just wants instant gratification and you have a million things that is teaching your kids more than you're teaching them because you're at work every 5 minutes trying to cheat on your husband. But yo, all right, let me chill, yo, because I'm talking shit. But Keana, it has been amazing having you on. Yo, I can't wait for you to see this
Well,
podcast.
thank you.
Yeah, I definitely would love to have you back on. This one we were kind of talking about just the relationships, but we could definitely talk about some other things because that was awesome. Yeah,
Well,
I
thank
really
you. I would
loved it.
definitely love to come back. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. You gave a lot of really good insight. I think a lot of people are gonna listen to this and really, really self-reflect, man. Self-reflect. I think that's necessary, yo.
It
It's
is.
it's necessary for people, man. You got to start thinking about, yo, what the hell? First of all, I think, what the hell do I want? Yo, people got to start
Mm-hmm.
knowing what they want, yo. People think
Yeah.
they know what they want. We started this podcast off talking about that.
Yeah, we
People think
did.
they want, but you don't know what the hell you want, man. You think you
Mm-hmm.
want that shit until you getting it or you getting around it, and then you're like, wait a minute, oh, that's not as fun as I thought. But hey, it's been amazing. I don't want to hold you up, yo. It's been really fun. Beeline, please check her out. You see, she's got a lot to talk about. She does a lot of good things. We didn't really even get into the whole, like you said, you helping out the disabled people getting jobs. That's freaking amazing, man. Like, you definitely do a lot of things. But Beeline, this has been Keana Mitchell. Please check out her podcast. I'm gonna have links all in the description. And your boy Brian B, of course, one more time saying this: stay true, stay positive. Number 3, pay attention. And your boy Brian B will holler. That's